Hi everybody, this is Jared Degatere with MLC CAD Systems, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about the NETVIBES Business Intelligence applications on the 3D Experience platform. Now before we get too far into NETVIBES, I just want to briefly go over what the 3D Experience platform is. The 3D Experience platform is a unified cloud environment for Dassault Systèmes products which streamlines collaboration between these products. Now, NETVIBES is one of these products that exists inside of this platform and is used to drive business decisions with real-time data. And it's super easy to share this information with coworkers or other stakeholders since everything is on one platform. Now, I also want to point out that this is the only product on the market that can boast this level of functionality all within a singular environment. What do we make next? This is a pretty common question that people in product development have to ask themselves. And in the case of this demonstration, let's imagine that we're a small craft brewery that needs to decide what our next beer type is going to be. Now, this is a super competitive market, so we don't want to make this decision off the cuff. We need real-time data to make an informed decision. We've narrowed down our next product to one of three choices, either an IPA, a Pilsner, or a Stout. And we're going to use NETVIBES Business Intelligence applications to drive our decision-making process. And the way we're going to do this is by following these 4 steps. So first, we're going to aggregate our content. And this is important because no one has time to gather data from 4.5 billion internet users or 682 million tweets that happen every day. So there's just a huge amount of data that's out there, and we need to capture some of it. So we need to gather what we don't know. To follow up that, we're going to filter this content. And this is super important because whenever you have a data set that's this large, you need to have an automated tool to help you drill down on the important information. We'll follow that up with actually analyzing the content so that we can basically make an informed decision with easily interpreted charts and graphs. And to finalize everything, we're going to see how we can easily distribute our content by automating the sharing process so that we can empower our team with actionable data. So let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna start off with content aggregation, and I'm going to flip over into my web browser. Now, I'd like to point out that I'm accessing this just from a generic web browser. This is Firefox, and you can access all of this information from any device with an internet connection. So this really frees your people up to be able to access their information when they need it and wherever they are. Now, what we're talking about right now is aggregating our content. And the way we do that with NETVIBES is by using something called a library. So what we have here on the left side is a library that has been created that's utilizing RSS feeds. And let's take a look at how we can add additional information to this library. Right now, we have 2 RSS feeds that are being captured, Craft Beer and Brewing and craftbeer.com. And to add an additional RSS feed to this particular library, you simply find whatever RSS feed you'd like to use. In this case, we'll use the fullpint.com, and I'll click on their RSS icon. And this will take us to their RSS feed, where we can then copy the URL and go back to our NETVIBES application and add content, and we'll add a feed. So it's a really easy process. You just paste in the URL of that RSS feed, and now what we have is an additional feed that's going to be added to our library. So now we have 3 RSS feeds that are being captured by this. I'll go ahead and finalize that. And you can see we have 189 articles that are being pulled in from these particular feeds. Another method of gathering or aggregating information is by using what is called a topic search. And we'll use this on the library that we have on the right side. Now you can see we have quite a few different searches that are going on here, and these searches are happening on different areas of the internet. So we have Google News, we have Flickr, we have Twitter searches that are happening, and they're all using different search terms. So I have a couple of different search terms that are happening, and they're all piling into this one library. And to add additional information to this library, what we can do is add a topic search. So I'll go ahead and just type something in, such as maybe a craft brewery. And here we have the option for deciding where we'd like this search to happen. So I'll go ahead and select all of them. We'll search for news searches, images, social searches, which includes Twitter, and video searches. And we'll go ahead and add this information to our library. So now all of these searches are included inside of our library, and we'll go ahead and finalize this. And we can see that we've got around 2,300 or so articles that are being included here inside of this library, which we can then filter and use to analyze, and we'll see how to do that next. I also want to point out that in addition to doing your own topic searches or gathering RSS feeds, you can also capture content that has already been curated by the NETVIBES team and that is specific to the industry. So I'll go ahead and show how to do that in the next step. So what did we just look at? We collected relevant information online, and we discovered that we can really easily gather curated content by industry. So let's go ahead and look at content filtering next. I'll flip tabs into another dashboard here. And what I'll do, I'll access one of the applications that is included in the social business analyst role. The social business analyst role on the 3D platform is what allows you to access these NETVIBES Business Intelligence applications. So from here, what I'm going to do is drag in a tracked topic onto my dashboard. And this tracked topic allows me to very easily filter information from any of my libraries and only include information that I'd like it to include. So first off, what I'll do, I'll select which libraries I want to include in this tracked topic. I'll select the topic search, craft beer, that we created, and the craft beer RSS that we created. Now over here on the right side of my screen are the industry curated content that we can access. So depending on what industry you're in, you can basically use any of these industry curated libraries that have been basically hand chosen by experts on the NETVIBES team. So for me, my previous background being in oil and gas, I might be interested in doing something like energy and materials, and then doing additional analytics or searches through that particular library. After this, we'll move on to the query, where you can either include all of the information in those libraries, or you can define a particular query that you'd like to search for. Now in our case, remember, we're trying to decide whether or not we're going to use, or whether or not our next product is going to be a IPA, a Pilsner, or a Stout. So let's narrow this down to where we're only looking at articles that are including IPAs, Pilsners, or Stouts. So I'll go ahead and type in IPA, and you can use operators such as and or conditions. So I'll type in or because I want to include any article that also has Pilsner or Stout. And in this situation, I'm also going to include another search term here for IPA or India Pale Ale. And I'll put that inside of quotations since that's additional, since this is multiple words. That way it searches for all of those words in particular. We'll go ahead and apply this, and we'll save our tracked topic. Now what we have here is articles that we can very easily come in and search through, but these are articles that are only related to IPAs, Pilsners, or Stouts. So we've filtered down that, I think we had something around 2,300 articles. We've filtered that down to where this is only information that's including IPAs, Pilsners, or Stouts. And if we find an interesting article, what we can do is click on this, read it, and make whatever analysis we might need. If it's something interesting and we'd like to share it with our community, we can do that very easily and publish this to what's called a 3D Swim community. I'll go ahead and publish this, and just to demonstrate what this might look like, we'll let this finish publishing and flip back over to our community and do a refresh. And now this information, this article, is here for anyone else inside of my community to comment on or to start discussions about and further determine, if this is something that's going to be relevant to our next product offering that we're going to create. So content filtering, we learned how we can quickly create customized feeds, and we can spend a lot less time searching for and more time reading relevant content. Let's go ahead and take a look at my favorite portion, which is the content analytics. This is where we start to make sense of the content that we've aggregated and filtered. So I'll flip back over into my web browser, and you can see that I've got quite a few applications that are already running on this tab of my dashboard. And I've organized this by the 3 different beers that we're interested in analyzing. So on the left side, the left column, I've got IPAs. In the middle, I have Pilsners, and then on the right side, I have Stouts. And the first row is basically just an article count. This is just a graph that's going to tell me how many articles have been posted about this particular beer inside of the libraries that I've created. You can see that the IPA looks like it's the clear winner here. We've got a maximum of 18, whereas on the Pilsner side, the maximum articles that have been posted here is only 6, and we even have quite a few days where no articles have been posted. Contrast that to the Stouts, where we actually have quite a few pretty decent days. This one has an article count of 14 and 13 over here, but the clear winner still is the IPA. Oh, and this is actually a great example. You see how all of these loaded? These are all continuously refreshing themselves. So the libraries that we've created are continuously crawling for additional data, and they will update in real time. I'll scroll down a little bit. Here we can see where people are talking about these particular beers. And we can even zoom in and get additional information and get really granular and see, where people are talking about IPAs. Being I'm from Louisiana, I'll go ahead and click on the New Orleans, and we can read those articles and further dive into, what's being said in those particular areas, if that makes a difference in our product development. Moving on, the last row that I have is how these particular beers are perceived. NETVIBES is intelligent enough to actually analyze the articles that are being written and determine whether or not they are positive or not. So you can see on our IPA side, we have quite a few articles that are actually coming in, as negative. I guess, people probably either love them or hate them. On the Pilsner side, the majority of them's positive, but they have a couple of different negative articles. Very similar to the Stout side. So these are just a couple of different methods that you can use to further analyze the content that you've aggregated and filtered. And I'll go ahead and show how easy it is to drop in one of these applications. So I'll access my social analytics tool, and I'll just drag that into this dashboard. From here, we'll configure this tool. First thing we'll do is select which sources we want to use, and we'll go ahead and continue to use the 2 libraries that we've created. Go ahead and apply that, and then we'll define what our query is going to be. And in this case, I'm just going to further analyze the IPA beer that we have. So I'll type in IPA or India Pale Ale. And we'll go ahead and change up our retention as well. We'll define a period of any time 3 months prior to today. And what we're interested in further analyzing is what is being said about these IPAs. I'll go ahead and maximize this just so everybody can see a bit more easily. And I'll change this up from articles to keywords. That way we can see what exactly is being said. And let's change our limit up to where we're looking at the 10 most popular terms in these articles. Here's where we can really get kind of into the nitty-gritty and see what people are saying about this particular beer. We can see that alcohol by volume is showing up pretty prevalent. So that seems to be an important factor maybe in these particular beers. Also, pandemic we can do a bit further research and see how the COVID pandemic is maybe affecting beer or breweries. So you have really a lot of information right here at your fingertips. You can always drill down if you'd like to see more information about the pandemic and how that's affecting. Simply click on it and it'll open up in its own window and you can perform further analysis. Finally, I have a comparison tab that's been created that's comparing the Pilsner to the IPA or the Stout. So this is a really informative chart, and you can see clearly we have these trend lines set up that the IPA is the clear winner as far as popularity is concerned. How many articles have been written about this? So a lot of information here. Once again, if we wanted to share this, we can very easily set it up to share to our 3D Swim community. Or we can use the automated tools to very easily share this information with our team. And we'll see how that's done next. So what did we see just now? We were able to find out who is talking about our future product, and we were able to identify locations, trends, and other actionable metrics, all very easily from a cloud-based tool. Now, I mentioned content distribution and how we could empower our team with actionable data, and let's go ahead and see what that looks like. I'll flip back to my browser here, and I'll click on my tab that I have created that's listed as Automate. And what we're doing here in this particular application is we're automating the sharing of information. So I'll go ahead and edit this, and what we're using is just a very plain date and time. We have this set up to where every Saturday at 8 a.m. what's going to happen is that a push mail is going to be sent out. So an email is going to be sent out, and it's going to be related to the comparison that we just viewed that's detailing how the IPA or the Pilsner or the Stout is trending. And that gets sent out on a weekly basis. You don't have to think about it. It goes directly to your inbox, and then you can stay up to date with how these three beers are trending and comparing to one another. So it makes it super simple to share information and stay up to date. So really easy to create automated emails, newsletters, feeds. You can even automate this to where it shares to your communities, and very easily to share both internally or externally. So what do we make next? From our analysis, I think it's pretty clear that the winner here is going to be the IPA. Because any amount of publicity is still publicity. Even if some of it is negative, I think our next beer is going to be the IPA. So thanks for watching, and if you have any questions on how NetVibes can help you decide what your next product is going to be or how to further refine your products, we'd love to hear from you.